Good morning, namaste. My name is Cassandra, and I'm going to take you through this pretty powerful morning yoga practice. This is really going to energize you and get you ready for the day ahead. We're going to get deep into our hips, our hamstrings, working on strengthening through our core, into our quads, our glutes, our shoulders, just really a well-rounded full body flow. This is intermediate level, I would say, and should really get you started with clarity and purpose for the day ahead. I always like for these morning yoga practices to be an opportunity for you to set an intention for the day. So this is something I'm really going to reinforce throughout this practice. Let's begin in Balasana, child's pose. Big toes together, knees as wide as you would like them to be. And we're gonna stay up on the fingertips as we crawl and reach the arms forward. So keep your elbows lifted off the mat as you soften your forehead down to the floor. You can slide your shoulders down and away from your ears. And it's almost like I'm trying to press my armpits down towards the mat. Feel lots of length through the sides of your waist. Take one more inhale here and stay in Balasana, but just relax your arms. And this time you might choose to press your hands together, bend your elbows, and bring your thumbs towards the back of your neck. 5 deep breaths here as you soften your hips towards your heels. And begin to really ask yourself what it is you want to focus on today. What your intention is, maybe just by choosing one word. Let's straighten the arms. We're going to walk the hands in, lifting up, coming into tabletop pose. On hands and knees, palms under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And we'll do cat-cow, adding a leg here for this one. So as you inhale, you're gonna lift your right heel up to the sky, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and contract, and see if you can touch your knee to your nose. Take a few more like this. Inhale and exhale, pull it in. Inhale, roll the shoulders back as you expand. Exhale, contract. You're gonna hold this next one. Inhale. You might choose to stay here. If you'd like to add a deeper thigh and shoulder stretch, you're gonna reach back with your left hand and start to push the foot into the palm as you lift and kick that heel up. So working on balance right away. One more big breath here, and now we are not done. Go ahead and release the foot. Find a flat back with your right leg lifted, and maybe you just want to keep your fingertips on the floor, or you can find your two-legged tabletop pose, left arm reaching forward, bicep along the ear. So there's no back bend here. Draw your lower belly in, flatten out through your spine, and release, round it in, release from that pose. And we'll go to the second side. As you inhale, reach that left leg and left heel up, drop the belly. Exhale, use core strength to pull that thigh in. A few more. And exhale. Inhale, squeeze your glutes to lift it up. Exhale, round and pull it through. You're gonna hold this next one. Maybe you just work the pose from here, or you can reach back, hold onto your ankle, and start to kick and lift up. Keep that left thigh rotating in, so you're not letting your left knee open up to the side. Deep breaths here. You got this. Into our two-legged tabletop pose. Really draw your navel in, flatten out your lower back, extend your left leg back behind you, press your left arm straight, and reach your right arm forward. This is a challenging pose, no doubt about it. Lengthen and reach, right hand away from your left foot. And we'll release, round and contract, pull it in. Let's find our first downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk your hands out, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips up and back. From this down dog, reach your right leg up to the sky. Go ahead and bend your right knee, open your hip. Just get a big thigh stretch here. And we'll step our right foot through in between our palms to the top of the mat. Just stay up on your fingertips in this deep runner's lunge. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. And you can straighten that front leg any amount as we just get deeper into our hamstrings, starting to push that back heel to the floor. Relax your chest. Start to bend into your front knee. We're meeting in plank pose where we will hold. Step that right foot back. And now go ahead and lift your right foot off the floor. We're gonna tap the toes down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your right knee down to the mat so the shin is low to the floor. Make sure you have your right hand under your shoulder as you roll to the inner edge of that left foot. This is a variation of Vashisthasana side plank. Reach and stretch your left arm up to the sky. And now let's go ahead and point through our left toes, squeeze and lift them up to hip level. And then you're gonna tap down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it lifted, bend into that knee and see if you can reach back, a different variation of this bind as you push the heel, push the ankle into your foot. Try to keep your knee at the same height as your hip. Looking down to the floor, cat pose again, just to release that back bend, round and contract. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, lift it up and back. Second side, left leg rises, bend your left knee, open up your hip. Let's step it through to that runner's lunge. Up onto your fingertips, melt your hips down, roll your shoulders back. Find your breath here, slow and steady, in and out through your nose. What is your intention today? And start to straighten that front leg any amount as you fold. Try to keep your hips and shoulders squared to the front of the mat as much as possible. I know this is tricky, especially first thing in the morning when our muscles and joints, everything is just a little bit tighter. We're coming into our plank pose. Bend into your front knee. Step that left foot back, and then you're gonna lift and float the left foot just a few inches off the floor. And we're gonna tap the toes down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left knee and shin down to the floor. Variation of Vashisthasana. Left hand is under your shoulder. Roll to the inner edge of your right foot and stretch your right arm up to the sky. Point out through your right toes and you're gonna squeeze to lift them up. Tap the toes down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it lifted. Add a bind if you'd like. Bend into your right knee. Reach back for the ankle or for the top of your foot. Roll the right shoulder back. Really expand through your chest. Cat pose. Let's release. Round it in. Okay, from here, from this tabletop pose, you're a little bit wider, so almost as if you were coming in your downward facing dog. You're just gonna bring your left forearm down to the floor. Keep your right hand as it is. Tuck your toes under and lift up. Variation of downward facing dog. Keep your left foot down on the mat and see if you can reach your right leg up to the sky. So really working into our left shoulder, squeezing it up. And set the right foot down, drop your knees to the floor, lift on up, and we'll go right away to the other side. So you can bring that left hand in a little bit, right forearm down, tuck the toes under, press to lift. So your left hand is really just here to help with support and balance, but it's your right shoulder that's doing most of the work. Left leg rises. Try to keep that left elbow pulling in. Not too much weight here. Keep reaching your chest towards your thighs, pushing into your right foot. And bring that left foot back down, both knees to the floor, downward facing dog, both hands flat to the floor, lift it up and back. Reach your right leg up to the sky, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2, right foot between your palms, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Lift on up. Garudasana arms, bend your elbows out in front of you, right arm under the left, binding once or twice. Shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. Let's dive forward and down to the inside of that right thigh. Push your palms together, keep squeezing that right knee open. And stay low to the floor, just release your hands down, frame that front foot again. We'll come right away into our pigeon pose. Right knee behind your right wrist. Reach and extend that back leg behind you, square off through your pelvis, find a little back bend, and then we'll melt all the way down. 10 slow, steady breaths here in the pose. Use your time here just to catch your breath, to slow down your heart rate, and to once more ground into your intention. This is your opportunity to infuse your practice with mindful awareness. And especially by practicing in the morning, we can allow this to carry throughout the rest of the day. Two more breaths right here in the pose. And push your hands into the floor, start to lift on up. We meet back in down dog. Please take your time. You can take a vinyasa here if you'd like. I'm skipping them this morning. But if you want to, you can move from plank to chaturanga to upward dog, and we all meet back in our downward facing dog. We can extend our left leg up to the sky, bend your knee, open up your hip. Virabhadrasana 2. Left foot steps between your palms, back foot spins parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Open up as you lift, palms facing down to the floor. Keep this alignment in your legs and feet. You're gonna wrap your left arm under your right, binding once or twice, and then dive down to the inside of that left leg. Try to relax your neck. Keep hugging that left hip in while squeezing your left knee open. Staying low to the floor, just release your hands to frame that front foot into your pigeon pose on the second side. Left knee behind your wrist, square off through your hips. Find a little back bend first, just walking your hands back, opening through your heart, and we'll dive it down. 10 breaths right here. Inviting that left hip and glute to release. No tension through your shoulders, through your chest, and your jaw. And notice if there's any mental tension. So the things you tell yourself when things get a little intense, that internal dialogue. Maybe you escape in daydreaming. See if you can really tune in and stay present to your experience throughout our class together. Two more breaths here. Now we'll start to lift up back into our downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You're welcome to take a vinyasa here. Inhaling to plank, exhaling to chaturanga, upward dog, and downward dog, where we all meet. Let's all of us come forward into plank pose so we can lower all the way to our belly. Point your toes back. Make sure your feet are about hip width distance apart here. And we're going to stretch our arms up overhead, palms facing in towards one another. Keep your feet glued and grounded to the floor here. So we're not lifting our legs just yet. You're just going to lift your upper body off the mat and feel how you have your hands pushing into the floor in order to facilitate this lift. See if you can now lift and reach your right arm off the mat. You can still push into your left hand here. Go ahead and swim that right hand all the way back. Keep that lift, reach it all the way forward and lower down, release. Push into both hands, inhale, curl and lift on up. And we're going to lift our left arm up as well. You can push into your right pinky and outer right hand. Turn the palm out, swim it all the way back. Keep that lift, swim it all the way forward. And release down. Shalambhasana, locust pose. Reach your arms back, lift everything up and off the floor. If it's appropriate to you, you can do the variation with both arms up. It's just a little bit too much for me this morning, so I'm keeping my arms back. So legs are lifted, rolling the head of the arm bones off the floor. Big breath in here. And let's release. Press back to an easy child's pose. Let your spine round over your thighs as a way to counteract that back bend and back strengthening pose. You can hold on to the soles of your feet. I find this to be so nice after I work on back strength, is to just roll onto the crown of my head, kind of like in this rabbit pose variation. And by holding onto the heels and pushing against that, I get a really nice traction and release along my low back. So I'm really not putting a lot of pressure on my head or on my neck at all here. And let's release. Let's go ahead and lower all the way down onto our back. You can keep your feet flat on the floor for this one. We'll be setting up in different variations of bridge pose, Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana. You'll want your feet to be hip width distance apart, pretty close in towards your glutes. Shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. And go ahead and push your feet into the floor, just squeeze and lift on up. And now once you're here, go ahead and lift your heels off the floor so your hips get even higher. Maybe you just hold the pose as you are. If you can bend into your elbows and bring your hands to support your pelvis and support your lower back. Your heels might need to stay off the floor, or they might be able to ground back down. Pull your right knee in towards your belly and then straighten that leg up. Relax your shoulders. Point through the toes, lift it up. And bend that right knee, set it down. We'll go right away to the other side. Left knee pulls in, and maybe you straighten it up. No tension in your neck. Keep lengthening your tailbone away, flattening your low back. And release it down. Carefully remove your arms and roll down inch by inch. Let's bring our right knee into our chest. Hold on to the back of the right leg wherever is appropriate to you here. Take a big hamstring stretch. So stretching into the back of the legs is also a wonderful way to release any kind of back bending pose. You can deepen this by straightening your left leg. Let's curl head and shoulders off the floor. Release it back down and open your leg out to the side. I like to release my left arm out to the side as a little bit of a counterweight. Big hamstring stretch here. Keep pushing down into your left hip so you're not rolling over to the right. And bend to release. Both feet flat on the floor. We'll switch sides. Grab a hold of the back of your left leg, stretch it up. So really normal for one side to be tighter than the other. For me, it's always my left leg. Don't worry about this so much. And maybe you straighten your right leg. Curl head and shoulders off the mat. Really pulling that leg in a little closer. And lower back down. Let's open our left leg out to the side. You can reach your right arm out as well. Push into your right hip and right glute. Big breath in here. And let's release. So I'll give you guys an option. You can either take a regular laying spinal twist, both knees to the side, right arm opening up. I'm going to take a QL stretch instead. It still has a bit of a twist. With my feet as wide as the mat, I'm dropping both knees over to the left and then hooking and crossing my left ankle over my right knee, reaching my right arm up overhead. So either this pose or any reclined twist that you enjoy. Whatever feels the most nourishing to you as we close our practice and wind things down after this pretty powerful morning yoga flow. Try to lengthen your breath, sending it even deeper down. We can uncross, we'll lift all the way up, either into your twist on the other side or that QL stretch. Both knees drop over to the right and maybe cross your your right ankle over your left knee. And you can stretch your left arm up overhead. Two more breaths. So rise up. Take any little movements or adjustments that feel good here. Maybe just pulling your knees to your belly, rocking a little side to side. We'll be coming into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take up some space. Palms can face up to the sky. Close your eyes. And give yourself these last few moments of rest and relaxation. Deepen your breath. Wake back up with some simple movements through your fingers and your toes. You can drop your head side to side. Stretch your arms up overhead. Stretch everything out. Reach and lengthen. We'll turn to one side. Push your hands into the floor. And lift on up. Shrugging your shoulders away from your ears. Join your hands at the front of your heart. Focus in on your intention this morning for the day ahead. The word or the phrase that captures what you want to focus on today. Let's chant Om one time. Inhale to chant. Big breath in. Namaste. Thank you so much for doing this morning yoga practice with me. I do hope that you enjoyed it. I would love to know how this class went for you and also what your intention is today. Please leave it below as a comment. And if you don't subscribe already, you can hit the subscribe button just to help support free yoga on the internet. Thanks again, and hopefully I'll practice again with you tomorrow morning.